Alright, so welcome to the first video on general chemistry nomenclature. In this video we're going to learn how to tips and tricks on naming molecular compounds as well as salts. So we're going to be naming two nonmetals as well as a nonmetal and a metal. So to do that we're actually going to be using a periodic table. I know it's a little hard to see, but you all should more or less know what a periodic table looks like. So we're going to first start off with molecular compounds, which are basically going to be two nonmetals. So whenever you have compounds with two atoms from this side of the periodic table, from the right side of the periodic table, you're going to follow these two rules. So the first rule is you're always going to want to use prefixes. That's the first rule. So you're using your mono, your di, your tri, your tetra, penta, etc., right? Second rule. The second rule when naming molecular compounds, again, that's two nonmetals from the right side of the periodic table, is you're going to use name the first atom. You're going to name the first atom with its full name, and the second atom, you're going to name it but change the ending of it to IDE. So you're going to name the first atom. So you're going to name the first atom using its full name, then the second atom, you're going to change the ending to IDE. So for example, if we have something like CO2. Here the first atom is carbon. We're going to use its full name, carbon. The second atom here is oxygen, but instead of oxygen, we're simply going to change the ending to IDE. So it's going to be oxide. Remember, the most important thing though, use prefixes. In this case, we have two oxygens, so we're going to have dioxide. The name of this compound here is carbon dioxide. The only time you don't use prefixes is when the first atom is a single atom. So this would not be mono carbon dioxide. We simply omit the mono and just name it carbon dioxide. This will work with any two atoms from the right side of the periodic table, any two nonmetals. So if we have something like N2O2. Again, you're going to name the first atom completely nitrogen. Then the second atom, you're going to just change the ending to ide. Again, as always, rule number one, use prefixes. Here we have a 2, there we have a 2. They're both going to be di. So dinitrogen dioxide. That will work for all of them. Any two nonmetals. Now, when naming a nonmetal and a metal, it's basically the same thing, you just don't have to use prefixes. So, same rules. You're going to use the full name of the first atom, and the second atom, you're going to change the ending to ide. For example, we can have something like, pick sodium and fluorine. NaF, right? So, Na, sodium, the full name of the first one. Fluorine, the second atom, the ending gets changed to ide. So it's going to be fluoride. We could do this with any other two. We could do potassium and chlorine. Again, first atom, the full name. Potassium. The second atom, you're going to change the ending to ide. So instead of chlorine, it's going to be chloride. So potassium chloride. And that's going to work with any metal and non-metal. Again, so the rules for molecular compounds, 2 rules. You're going to, 1, you're going to use prefixes, very important. Use prefixes unless the first atom is a single atom, you don't use mono. The second rule is for the second atom, you're going to change the ending to "ide." When naming a metal and a non-metal, all you're going to do is basically name the first atom completely, the second atom changing the ending to "ide." And that's going to do it.